Softball. There's nothing soft about it, or is there? In 1887, in a boat club in Chicago, Yale and Harvard fans were awaiting the score of a football game. When the score was announced, a Yale fan threw a boxing glove at a Harvard fan, who proceeded to hit it away with a broom handle. George Hancock yelled, "Play ball," and the first game of softball was underway. Indoor-outdoor ball, as it was called, was essentially a way for the baseball players to stay on top of their game during the winter. From its beginnings in Chicago and Milwaukee, the popular game spread through the upper Midwest and Canada. Depending on where you were, you might play cabbage ball, mush ball, kitten ball, or pumpkin ball. The size of the bat and ball and the exact rules varied as much as the name did. Men and women of all ages were active in the sport. Indoor, outdoor, diamond ball, or whatever you chose to call it, took on the name softball in 1926 after Denver YMCA officials suggested the name. The newly Christian sport made a giant leap in 1933 when a Chicago reporter and a sporting goods salesman organized a softball tournament in conjunction with the World's Fair. Leo Fisher and Michael Pauley invited 55 teams to compete in 3 tournament divisions. More than 350,000 spectators watched the tournament games at the ball fields inside the World's Fairgrounds. This tournament was the catalyst for the spread of softball. Teams, leagues, and tournaments began to spring up in nearly every U.S. town and in many parts of the world. A women's professional softball league formed in 1976, and it lasted only 4 years. In 1982, the National Collegiate Athletic Association began holding championships in women's softball. In 1996, women's fast pitch reached the pinnacle of sports when it became an Olympic medal event. The U.S. won the first ever gold medal for this. The strength of U.S. teams reflected the popularity of fast pitch softball among women in the United States. More than 40 million people in the United States alone now actively play the game that began in a boating club with a boxing glove, a broomstick, and a group of football fans. Now I will explain the dimensions of the field. It is 60 feet between bases. You have an 8-foot radius for a pitcher's circle. Starts in the center of the pitcher's mound. It is 83 foot 10 1/4 inches from home to second base, and in a 60-foot arc from the center of the pitcher's mound. You have the grass line for separating the infield and the outfield. The backstop sits 25 to 30 feet behind home plate. The catcher's box is 8.5 foot by 7 foot. The batter's boxes, one on each side of the plate, are 3 foot by 7 foot, and they are 6 inches away from the outside edges of the home plate. They are also, the top of the box is 4 feet above home plate. The pitcher's mound is 24 inches by 6 inches, and it's 43 feet from home plate. That, when we pitch a 60-mile-an-hour fastball, it is equivalent to a 100-mile-an-hour fastball in baseball. The outfield fence, which starts from the center of home plate and left and right, can be between 190 and 225 feet. It just depends on where you play. And in center field, it is between 200 and 225 feet. Up here, we just have Jessica Mendoza hitting the ball. She's a very great hitter. We have Jenny Finch, who is probably the world's best pitcher. They did take softball out of the Olympic Games in 2010. This is the 2008 Olympic softball teams. They have great hope that the game will be back in the 2016 Olympics, which a lot of us hope so as well. I do also have a brochure of softball, fun facts, stats, and some of the professional softball players. And I'll go ahead and let you guys look at that. I know it's hard to believe that a rapidly growing sport was invented in a boat club with a boxing glove and a broom handle, but I'm very glad that it did. So, is there really anything soft about softball. In today's game, not really. But back in 1883, there sure was. I wouldn't mind getting hit with a boxing glove. Remember, no matter where you're at, it is only 60 feet to the nearest bag. Thank you for your time.